Get Set Green Season 3, the podcast where we explore ideas, people, and solutions shaping our sustainable future. I'm your host, Pooja Arvi. Today, we are diving into what it really takes to build a zero waste, toxin free lifestyle brand from the ground up with Thendral from Kamarakattu Ecostore. So, let's listen from her. Hi,
Hi,
Tendril.
Pooja. Hi. Uh,
I am so excited to have you on the show, and I already know how I started talking to you. So I'm also curious. Like, I want the people to know your story as well. So why don't you just tell that how Kamarakattu happened and briefly about yourself?
yeah. Hi, my name is Thendral. I'm from Tamil Nadu. I was a normal corporate mom for a while. So I did my engineering and MBA, and I worked in middle management and sales and marketing. It was good corporate job, and both me and my husband were busy with our works when we started our family. So I had my first daughter, and that's when a little things started slowing up for us. So I started seeing what happens in every product, what is there behind every product, because we started migrating to a natural lifestyle. We started migrating from allopathy to siddha medication. uh, this was a personal call which we took as a family, and
Okay.
when we started seeing the natural doctor, the siddha doctor, so he started putting in a lot of questions to us. So he's Dr. Selva Shanmugam, and he started asking me, do you read what goes into your mouth every morning when you get up? Do you see what goes into your toothpaste? What do you apply in your scalp? So this was nothing related to environment. It was about our personal,
Human health. Yeah.
personal health and everything. So that is when we started wondering, because till that moment we never thought what goes into our product. We just took things for granted, and we went on. And we were both busy with our work, and we never looked back on what is happening in our personal lives. And that is when we started reading the ingredients really. And we thought we'll have to, when we become parents, we become very protective. So we wanted to make natural products for our child, but unfortunately, we didn't have time to put so much an effort. So my mother is an organic farmer, and she pitched in at that time. She started making bath powder, hair wash powder, tooth powder, kajal, such basic stuff which a baby will need. So we started using only those products for the baby only, not for us. We never migrated. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how we started. So this was a decade back, and that is when we moved to a natural lifestyle. We realized one thing, that this kind of lifestyle needs a lot of time and effort, which we cannot afford in today's city life. And if we have to move and buy some product which are made this way, it was very expensive for us. And we realized that a middle class Indian, if they want to have a natural lifestyle, they will either have to shell in a lot of time, or put in a lot of money. So it was a choice between these two. And that is when we realized maybe we can pitch in. That is when I thought I'll have to personally take a break from this busy life, and I wanted a change in my own life, and I wanted to see if Kamarkattu can bring in such change to people who want to switch. So the core, a solution which we were looking for is an affordable, sustainable product. So after we migrated into natural lifestyle, we realized how much plastic we were able to avoid as a human. We I started composting my kitchen waste. I started segregating. And when I stopped buying these commercial products, I realized, oh my god, I didn't have so much of plastic at all at my home. And that is when I realized, oh, okay, so plastic comes with all these little products, and we keep adding up to the pile of trash. So it was the second part of our story when we went into a natural life.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cycle, right? Let's say when you are conscious about what products you use, what actually you are buying from the market, that's where it starts. So it all starts with a single thought of you being conscious of, let's say, it may not be even for the environment. It can be just for yourself as well, for your family, to understand that what is actually going into that. And it matters a lot in terms of, let's say, whether it is for the health wise or the toxicology side. So that's how the cycle of events and chain of events starts usually. And I do understand that it needs, let's say, a lot of commitment from your side as well, because many a times what we see or observe is, I believe everyone would like to have that lifestyle, where you are consciously making choices and as well as buying the products which you actually need. But what happens is, like as you rightly mentioned, because they are caught up in their daily life, which is chaotic, and let's say in metro cities, it requires that hustle and time management. So people tend to, let's say, forego those thoughts which they initially started with, and they will not be able to sustain for a longer time. So I would say congratulations to you, because having that thought and then later on making it into a materialized action is in itself is a very big thing. So I
Thank
think you
you.
should appreciate your efforts in these lines. Yeah. And I'm happy for that too.
Thank
So yeah, then can you please tell us, like when did you actually start Kamarkattu, or what made you so?
Okay, so when I took a break from my career, I was thinking what to do. I was first wanting to do farming only, like my mother, because I have my whole family is into farming. But then, when we were caught up in making these products for ourselves, I thought, why not try this out? So it was just a spur of the moment decision that we thought we'll just try it out for a year or so. If it works out, we'll go this way, or we'll go back to farming. That was the whole idea when we started. And since we already had these products which we were making for our family, and these things were something which we were sharing with our extended family and friends, and they really appreciated how different these are, how nice that these are. So we thought that was the starting point. We really did not see it as a brand coming up, but
Mm-hmm.
just because we had made make these things made for ourselves, we thought, okay, we'll just try and see if people like this. That is how it started. And we started only with the powders because we thought powder is see, when the a product when it is in a powder form is as per me the most natural form, because we have the herbs and flowers blended into a powder, nothing else added. So that is like the most natural form of product which you can use for your bath or your shower or laundry or whatever. But then, yes, convenience. There has to be a balance between convenience and the way you are using. So that is where the bars, soaps, and gels and everything comes in.
Yeah. And this personal hygiene space is a, let's say, a very risky and critical space, because you cannot just let's say use certain products or ingredients, because each and every body skin type is different, and we need to match the type. And also, let's not forget the climatic conditions there. For the people who are staying in humid regions, it may not be suitable, or the people who are from, let's say, the hotter sections of the country, Rajasthan or few other places, for them there might be another whole altogether different requirement, let's say. So the space is very evolving, and I have during my journey in this podcast, I have seen quite a lot of brands where they are trying to make, let's say, instead of bars, they are packing those bars. They are trying to make one with metal needled one, where you can just carry the bars and hang it in your bath. So things are changing and evolving. Let's see how it goes ahead. So thanks, Tendril, for saying that, this is where our theme was also focusing on, like how everyday person or everyday changes can actually bring certain impacts to the environment. So that brings to me my next question, which will be on understanding, let's say, the skincare brand spans home care and sustainable alternatives, right? What was the core problem did you feel in addressing while you started building these products?
So I like I was saying, the problem which we felt was getting an affordable solution for when we want to switch to a sustainable lifestyle.
Basically,
That was
the
there.
economics cost aspect of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I feel it to be a very unfortunate situation. There are so many of us who are genuinely wanting to become a more conscious consumer, to become better in terms of avoiding so much of plastic, but we don't get a really affordable solution or something which can they can just pick and buy. There is no solution as of now. At least offline, there is nothing as of now available, because the whole value chain is dependent on plastic packaging. That is understood. It's okay. But for someone who is wanting, at least they can use without shelling out so much of money to start with. That was the whole core problem which we were trying to address, and till today, that is a stand which we are taking. We feel that the moment a person wants to become sustainable, money should not be the hindrance, and it can never be. Ideally speaking, a zero waste person will have to spend much lesser money compared to a normal person. But today, the whole myth is that the moment you are organic or sustainable or zero waste, you're rich, or you're more educated, you're better person. It's nothing like that. You can actually be a very poor, a very uneducated person, illiterate person, but you can always be sustainable and zero waste. It's actually the basic human instinct, which we have now tried to market as a big hi-fi word.
The irony part of this here, Tendril, that at least I believe we Indians were always following the sustainable practices when it comes to personal hygiene and oral healthcare, everything. We had neem sticks where we were using, and we are also using certain, let's say, the coal or few other things. And then we all had this areca nuts and shigekai for our air wash and scalp, and loofah, that natural which we
Yeah,
get it. Yeah, so we do have that habits inbuilt in our Indian DNA, but the only part here is like suddenly when we were transitioning from this capital, let's say the normal slow routine kind of life to industrialized, let's say developed setup, the things changed and the people started believing in, let's say it became more like if we are still using the old methods, you are not developed. So that's
yeah.
how the whole marketing around it came ahead. Then people started slowly to let go of their ancient practices and knowledge as well.
And
But
you
we
can't
do have
imagine the
it.
kind of time we took to change, to switch to this kind of
Yeah.
lifestyle. Like, I'm a 90s kid. I have
Hmm.
seen people using tooth powder. It's as basic as that.
Hmm.
Every
Hmm.
household used to have tooth powder when I was a kid.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
suddenly,
Hmm.
when I was growing up, toothpaste came into picture. Like, today, if there is a toothpaste, next year, I don't know what is tooth powder. Today, I have so many of my customers who is asking, what is a tooth powder? How do you use a tooth powder? And I
Hmm.
can't just sit and wonder what has happened in just a span of, say, 2 decades. Everything has changed. The whole scene has
Yeah.
changed, and I would partly blame it on our generation, the generation before us also. They were like so quick in changing everything. They let go of so many things that were so cool those days. But
I
yeah.
mean, it's a difficult aspect, right? Because earlier, while we were still having this national building years, people were more focused on let going things, but unknowingly, it came to be as you know that the market was trying to portray it in such a way that following this or using this is not good enough, or not only in terms of aesthetics or how it looks, also in terms of health. It also is common for the oil industry, right? Earlier we were quite acquainted with using, let's say, coconut or groundnut and few other oils, but then in between it so happened that sunflower became a thing which was never heard of in India, right? So it is not people's fault also, because it was said like you are gaining more fat, cholesterol, all the one other, I don't know, like things when people started saying, and let's say the the doctors or dietitians or physicians, when they felt that the need was this and the change was required, people with, let's say, less available source or with ignorance, they chose to believe that okay, this oil is not good or ghee is not good, because ghee is such a fantastic source. But then people started believing that, I mean, everything in a limited quantity is well. Just because it's good doesn't mean that we have to take it in a uncontrolled fashion. But yeah, so rather I would say, like, we don't had this proper knowledge and understanding and the significance of it. Otherwise I don't think people would have done so, and with respect to the cost as well.
That's also
So
because, see, the colonization is still there, for according to me, because even today, if there is a white person telling something, American or European telling something, we generally accept it as a good thing. Even today, what makes me angry is when someone is coming into sustainability, they may have come only because the Western world has become sustainable. Because someone in Western world has told that sustainability is good. We are still, majority of us refrain from looking at our own ancient wisdom, our own tradition, which was basically rooted into sustainability and zero waste living. That is somehow making me angry, and I don't know. It's very sad thing for us. And I'm not even talking about the generation before us. I'm talking about today's educated Gen Z. They only look up to people in Western world and developed countries, and they fail to look around their own daddies and nannies who have been telling such good things in their own household, like carrying a cotton bag or a basic lifestyle which we were doing. Our generation is still doing. The elder generation is still doing. We fail to understand that, and the moment someone on YouTube or TikTok or Insta is telling something, then they'll be like, "Oh my God, this is so nice." So that is where we still have a problem.
yeah, I mean, like, it depends, right? Like, this is not just an Indian or some others problem. Like, on a broader range, Asians, I feel like, whether we agree or not, it is up to them or to the audience. But it is a very difficult space to navigate and to understand what human biases we have towards, let's say, other color or etc. Without going into that, we can also say that sometimes it is also about the, let's say, the feasibility. How easy can it be and how convenient can it be for your day to day life? So that also is a major impact which drives the lifestyle of people.
Yeah.
So we cannot completely say that, this was the only reason or this was the other reason, but at least we can say that rather sit and discuss about what can be the changes we can think of. So now moving on, Tendril, like, can you emphasize this toxin free and natural native ingredients? And when we say these two lines, right, organically sourced or etc., it is also very important for us to understand that what actually is going into that. So then how do you manage this authenticity in sourcing? Because nowadays, as you rightly mentioned, some of the other people or the, let's say, organizations, if they just claim that they are sustainable, it is definitely going to fall into greenwashing, which is totally false. So if we don't want to do that, we have to at least have some authenticity in how we do or what we do. Can you tell us more and emphasize on this?
Yeah. So here, when we source a raw material, we try to go back as much as possible to the source. For example, when we have to make a, hair wash powder, for example, or a shampoo bar, for example, we don't buy shikakai powder to blend into our oils. We buy shikakai pods, which are there in local mandi, and we then dry them and blend them. So the moment we go back one step in our raw material cycle, though the effort may be more, uh, that they are that is authentic product. And more than that, when a product is native, I'll give an example. Our bars have cocoa butters or cocoa butter. So both are very very nourishing butters. But cocoa butter primarily comes from Africa, and it will have to be transported from there to here. No doubt, it's so good for hair. But cocoa butter is something which is native to India. Comes from mangustan fruit, which is native to India, and it is abundant. We have so much of it in our country. Just using that instead of cocoa butter ensures that we get the fruits here locally and make butter out of it. It is so much more easier, and because there is no demand for such native ingredients, no, we are not even getting into greenwashing or buying from a uncredible source. Only when a product is in such high demand, there is a lot of adulteration happening, and you don't really know the moment you see the source of your product, you are much more comfortable. So that is where we try to make it as native as possible. And we believe that the things we eat or the things we consume in our skin, the moment it grows in our own soil, it is good for our animals or human beings which are in native to that place. That is the belief system which we have been having for so long, and we at Kamarkattu believe that too. So we try to substitute the ingredients which are traditionally used for a product into those which can be sourced locally. And most of these herbs and flowers we buy from local market, and wherever we need authentication, like say essential oils or oils and all that, we buy from certified sources which they have procured from.
Yeah, I mean, like that's all sustainability is about. If I have to say the definition, it is always about how consciously and let's say holistically you find the products and use it so that you are not depleting the resources for the upcoming generation. So it doesn't mean that just because you have, let's say, product X, you don't have to buy product. Oh, okay, this particular organic product. Let me get one more pot rather already having other pots at home. So it is not at all sustainable. It is all about how can you use the things which you already have to the best way possible. That is sustainability. So moving on, Thendral, I was also interested in understanding because many consumers want sustainability, but they don't want the inconvenience. So how do you tackle this behavioral shift in your products?
We've already come one step further because convenience is where online sales comes into picture. Ideally, if we have to talk about ideal zero waste situation, it should not even be online. It should be like you go to a place, buy something in your own container, and come back. So that would be like ideal utopia. But that's not going to happen. So we are selling online, which again is already a compromise. But now, where the customers will have to adapt is the form of the product which we are giving. For example, we at Kamarkattu don't sell liquids. There is no liquid shampoo, liquid soap, liquid detergent. Nothing is in liquid form because we don't want to transport in plastic. We have certain liquids like oils and bioenzyme, which we sell in glass, aluminum, or bioenzyme, obviously in plastic, but we use reused plastic. So these are, other than this, we want to refrain the product is in either bar form or a powder form. There are some products like perfumes which we give in balms, as balms and not as liquids. So here it is not about inconvenience. Actually, a shampoo bar is as convenient as liquid shampoo. A deo balm is as convenient as the liquid perfume. It's only about our what do you say, our habit of using it for so many years. So, for example, if I have been using certain product for 35 years in one form, suddenly from tomorrow to use it in another form is going to be very difficult for me. But that's not because the other one is inconvenient. It's because I have been habituated in using it like this.
Yeah.
So here is where I have to appreciate the customers who have been there with us, who have taken that step. One step has to be taken from them. Another one is when they have issues while using it. They may say that my bar is getting over so soon. What do I do? They'll feel that the coir is not washing as good as the plastic scrub. So there are so many queries they get when they do this switch. And that's where we keep communicating with them, we keep interacting with them. We explain that this can be done to save your bar from becoming slushy. You can use the coir in this way. You can dry the coir between users so that it doesn't develop fungus. So this everyday problem, we keep interacting with them with practical solution. So it's not like an SBQ which we give to them and to them for them to study and adapt from day one. It's only every day when they use, they keep talking to us, and that is how we develop the habit together. It's like a thing which we do together.
Yeah, it's a two-way communication and not just like a monologue where you say this is how you have to use it or this is what has to be followed. Rather, having a very candid conversation in terms of understanding their difficulties
Yeah,
and
and
what
that's
is
where
that
today's
actually happening.
social media has helped us so much. So today they can just DM us with a query, and tomorrow we'll be able to revert. So that would not have been possible back those days, but today we are thankful to such open
Yeah, I
communication.
mean, we have to find a balance, right? We cannot completely walk away. As you rightly mentioned, having a store online is in itself saying that it is not zero waste. Because at the end of the day, we cannot just go back to like how we were earlier. But only thing what we can still do is make some efforts in terms of understanding and striking a balance in terms of, let's say, whether it is online or usage of the electricity or any other resources which are we are privileged, I would say, generation where we have access to all of these resources. Let's use it consciously and make the better use of it. That's how we should look things at. And as you rightly mentioned, your content also shows a strong community and team involvement, right? So can you tell us how important is local employment or inclusivity in your business model?
Yeah. So we are a team of mothers. So we all understand that for us, our kids' schools, their sick days, their schedule comes first when we prioritize our work. So we all know that and understand when we work together. That has become such a comfortable thing to be with. So I we are very flexible in terms of working. So we may work for 5 to 6 hours per day. That's it, because we work between our pickup and drop time. That is how we have designed our whole workplace, and we have a space where our kids come back and play together while we work. So it gives such a peace of mind for us. So if I have to sit back and think, before 10 years, I was a person, I told that a woman should be as career driven as a man. There should be no difference between how a man is treated and a woman is treated. So I always looked down upon when a woman said that she's taking a career break, she's going to stay at home and taking care of kids and all that. I used to wonder, why do all this? You're educated, you're in such a good career space. Why do you have to do that? But now I've evolved as a person. I understand things better. I understand that a woman sees life in a circle rather than a straight line like a man. So there are things which we understand as we go grow, right? So it helps when I have similar thinking women with me, and it helps us grow together comfortably.
Yeah,
That has helped
I
me
mean,
and
it's
them also.
okay, that's great. If something is working for you, well and good. But only thing is like what differs here is we cannot just say in common terminologies, let's say, or what all women can like or cannot like, because
Yes.
it is up to them. I have met, let's say, ambitious founders, women founders who are so driven and they are making quite a lot of impact and they enjoy the journey. And we have people who doesn't want to strive and hustle and build something and are okay to be at staying home or whatever that they feel like doing. We should appreciate. So it's at the end of the day, it
I
should never
myself,
be.
I never thought I will be like this before 10 years. No? So I had different
Mm,
viewpoint then, I have different viewpoint now. Maybe 10 years
yeah,
down the line, I would have different viewpoint. So it's also varied, and we'll have to, invite everything. Everything is similar.
yeah.
It's up to their own priorities and viewpoints.
Yes,
No question.
and whatever makes sense and whatever makes people happy, they should definitely keep doing it. And I do agree because every version of you, younger, older, elder, or even let's say in 1 or 2 years, you can have a completely different view on a topic which you had a different opinion earlier on. So things keep changing and opinions keep shaping up. At the end of the day, what matters is like your choice, and there should be a freedom of choice, so that remains constant whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. It always have to be up to you.
Correct.
Yeah. So right now, thank you so much, Tendril, for sharing your story. So, in this particular segment, we were trying to understand how an everyday person can bring some changes in whatever way it can be. And we wanted to also understand, like, let's say if one person or one thought where from a small commitment to this it started into a a product line, right? So it is for us to show that whenever we have a thought, it is very much important that you materialize it. It will always be fruitful, and if not as well, there will be a quite a lot of learnings in the journey and you will feel satisfied, which is at the end of the day most important. Now we have a small rapid fire section, Tendril. We'll have 4 questions to you. You just have to give one word answers. Are we
Okay.
ready?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So one product everyone should switch immediately as per you.
It's not about the product, it's a form. From liquid to solids, please.
Okay. Yeah.
No liquid.
Then,
And today, nowadays, the ads have come. Even bath soaps have become body wash. So we are becoming more and more liquid oriented, and I am not in favor of liquids. So much
yeah,
of
I mean,
water
it
there is
depends,
so
right? We have diverse choices. I have met people, or even let's say me, because sometimes it is easy for you because bars, if a hotel or let's say some other people use, then how will you reuse it? It becomes very difficult because you
much.
go and you do it for a single use and you have to carry, and it becomes quite nasty if it is wet. And how do you package all the stuff? So, if you have a
Today there are
liquid
a lot of
form,
options. You have travel
yeah,
soaplets. You can have small soaplets. See,
yes, I mean,
liquid can be there are refill containers nowadays in hotels. For example, you can have a big
hmm.
container. We also supply liquid bath soaps for hotels where they put it in the big container and they people use it between. So it's in the same container. My problem is the container. When you buy as a consumer, you buy so many. The bathroom is filled with so many bottles of containers, and that is where. As an eco freak, I become a little addled because of this. So many bottles, so many containers, not required. And because of because they're all bottled up, there is so much of synthetic fragrance added to it, so that it doesn't stink, and that again impacts our health in a huge way.
Yeah, I mean, like again, from a seeing from a different angles, the answers will always change because if you want to store it, if you want to transport it, and if there is certain lifespan attached to the product, if you have to sustain without going bad, then you need something which sustains all of this. Let's say chemicals or few other things. So that's where it becomes let's say a diverse option of products on how we go. And yeah, let's stick to our rapid fire question 3. What is harder, zero waste or affordability? I think I know the answer from you
Zero,
already.
zero, zero waste is not even possible. So I'll just say, yeah, to say low waste. Low waste is easy when the intent is there. Affordability is where it becomes a challenge in today's world, especially because you'll have to choose your channels based on it. I'm not a part of a lot of channels because I cannot pay that much of commission to them because I have kept my margin optimal. So I'm not present in a lot of channels only because of that, and I'm sad because of that. But it's okay. I've made a choice that my product will be affordable, and that is where I stand. So it's very difficult to be affordable in today's market.
I mean, again, yeah, it's whatever is working for you, well and good. Yeah. And last one is a moment that made you feel that actually this is working.
See, I get a high when a customer comes and says that your product, I'm using it for so long and it is long lasting. So a long lasting product is something which is very close to my heart. So when someone says, there was a customer who came and told me that he has been using the shaving bar for 1.5 years now and still half bar is left. So he took a picture and showed me how long it has been lasting. And when a customer takes a picture of the dishwash bar and says, oh my god, it's still not getting over, it's still there. So moments like these make me very happy because I feel that products are made to last long, have to be made to last longer. It should not be over very quick, and that is the core value which we want to drive in.
Cool then. Okay, we are at the end and thank you so much. Kamarkattu shows that sustainability isn't just a concept, it's about daily choices and people like us. If we are conscious enough in terms of what choices and what are the impacts of choices. So that's how we can start looking at different changes in today's life. So thank you so much. That's it for today's episode of Get Set Green. I'm your host, Pooja Arve. Thank you for tuning in to the conversations that matter. If this story inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, subscribe, and join our community of change makers. Together, let's keep purpose meeting planet, one week and one story at a time. Until next time, stay curious, stay foolish, and let's get set to get green.